Did you all just see that interview that Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski just gave with NBC News' Brian Nobles? You know, Lisa Murkowski, who cast the deciding vote to push forward the Senate's big, nasty, bloated budget bill that will deprive more than 17 million Americans of their health care, that will fund the American Gestapo known as ICE, expand their reign of terror tenfold in this country.
Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
This one was easy. Senator, we've got the...
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people, and it's just different. And so when people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive. I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests, but I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we moved through an artificial deadline, an artificial timeline to produce something, to meet a deadline, rather than to actually try to produce the best bill for the country. But when I saw the direction that this is going, you can either say, I don't like it, not try to help my state, or you can roll up your sleeves.
I understand there are Americans who are not going to be advantaged by this bill. Why the fuck don't you say what you mean, you old biddy? There are going to be tens of millions of Americans that will suffer and die as a direct result of you voting yes for this big, nasty, bloated budget bill. We know what you did, and no amount of stink eye for Ryan Nobles is going to cover it up. No amount of pearl clutching is going to cover it up. What you did is throw the American people under the bus to protect your political capital in Alaska. You think this bill is so bad for Alaskans that you carved out a backroom deal that the parliamentarian threw out. You tried to make sure that this shit didn't happen to the constituents in your state. You tried to buy their loyalty at the expense of Americans' lives in 49 other states, at the expense of immigrants' lives all across this country. If this bill is so bad for Alaskans, then why didn't you vote no? If this vote is so bad for the American people and you think it shouldn't be rushed through, you think it's a terrible thing, why the fuck did you vote for it? Please understand, Lisa Murkowski, that you are not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. If you're watching this and you're an Alaskan, I understand that Lisa Murkowski loves to posture and perform like she's a moderate because she's desperate to get those votes from independents and moderates across Alaska. I understand that. I certainly hope y'all run a vigorous campaign against her next time she's up for re-election. I certainly hope Alaskans realize what kind of craven politician they have in the U.S. Senate and they choose better next time. Rand Paul wasn't pulling any punches. He was entirely accurate. What you got was a bailout. You know that this bill is going to close hospitals all across the country. People are going to be denied access to health care because of how you voted if this thing gets signed into law. And what did you do? You carved out special protections for your state to protect hospitals in Alaska from closing. But fuck everybody else in the United States. Fuck everybody else that's not going to have access to health care. You protected your political capital. Also, what kind of political bullshit doublespeak is this? When I saw the direction that this was going, you can either say, I don't like it and not try to help my state, or you can roll up your sleeves. What the fuck do you mean, Lisa Murkowski? If you had voted no, it would have killed the bill. You saw the direction that it was going. You could have stopped that direction, and instead you facilitated it. You could have protected Alaska and all of the other states, but you never, ever, ever stand up against the Trump regime, you gutless coward. Rand Paul, Tom Tillis, and Susan Collins all voted against this bill. And if you had voted no, you, the very last holdout, had voted no, instead of serving your own political interests, this bill would be back to the drawing board. And let's be clear, Lisa Murkowski, you did not protect Alaskans. You did not protect Alaskans' interests at all. You protected your own. This bill will be economically, socially devastating, legally devastating for everybody in the United States. Just because you got a few measures for your bill, most of this bill will still apply to Alaska. If you're an Alaskan, do not listen to her if she says, I protected you from this, keep voting for me. No, she didn't. This is craven political maneuvering, meant to look like she cares, right? Meant to look like I'm a moderate and I'm not really happy about this, you guys, but I didn't have any choice. You were the choice. You had every choice. You made the consequential choice here. I mean, let's be real, every other Senate Republican who voted for this bill, everybody except for Rand Paul, Susan Collins, and Tom Tillis, is equally culpable. But you're the only one, Lisa Murkowski, who acted like you were waffling so that you could gain something for you personally. You're the only one who strung people along. Do not be fooled by this political posturing of Lisa Murkowski. She's not giving Ryan Noble stink eye because she's so offended. No. She's giving him stink eye because she got called out on her political maneuvering. We know what she's done. Now, the version that did pass the Senate today, because Lisa is a gutless coward, is going over to the House, and we're already hearing that more than 20 House Republicans are opposed to the Senate's version. So there will likely be revisions that will then need to go back to the Senate. So there is still a chance to pressure your Republican senators. Definitely Republican congressmen and women, you should be calling them now. Not only saying vote no, but saying if you don't vote no, we will vote you out, because all of the House Republicans are up for re-election. But likely there will be an amended version of this reconciliation bill that will then go back to the Senate. And Lisa Murkowski will have an opportunity to vote no yet again, because she just said today, she said, I don't like this, I voted yes, but I really hope that the House quashes it. I really hope that the House stops these bad things, and then when they send it back to us, it's going to be a good version of the bill. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez voting yes for the SAVE Act. You know, the only Democratic woman to vote yes for the biggest voter suppression bill we've had in ages, a bill that would disenfranchise millions of women voters, which is still mired in the Senate, so don't stress too much about it. But when Gluesenkamp-Perez voted yes for that, she said, I don't like this legislation, I think it's terrible, but I'm hoping the people in the Senate will do the right thing and stop it. This is the same kind of play that Lisa Murkowski made today. She voted for something that was terrible because she caved to leadership. She wanted to buy herself some political bonus points, and she's like, I'm gonna let somebody else have the responsibility of taking the heat for voting no, right? She took the coward's way out. But it's not too late. It's not too late to stop this bill, y'all. You need to be calling your electeds. You need to be emailing them and pressuring them. This fight is not over. And more than that, we are seeing giant fractures in the Republican Party. The Republicans in the Senate who voted for this, loads of them have said, including Lisa herself, have said, this is a bad bill. This is bad news. And now we are seeing more than 20 House Republicans who have already said they won't vote for the bill as is. The longer we can draw this out, the longer opposition builds, the more political pressure we can put on electeds, the more likely this bill is to fail. It is already politically devastating. It's already a disaster for Trump and for the Republicans. So let's keep it up. Let's keep the pressure on. You should be calling every day, at least once a day, emailing every day. Keep the pressure on, y'all. The reason these Republicans are caving, the reason these Republicans are having doubts, it's not because they have a conscience. No. It's because they're really afraid of their constituents. They're afraid of getting voted out. They're afraid that y'all will not forget what they have done. So you need to tell them, we won't forget. We won't forget what you're doing now, and there will be consequences.